What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the channel. It's your boy Devin Coates coming to you with a video here about stability and security. So one thing that really kind of held me back from making videos for a while is that I was going through a lot of transitions. So I moved from the place I was living, honestly, got infested with bed bugs. I'm not spending $1,200 a month with bed bugs, even if you exterminate it. So I left, moved in with my dad for 2 months, which was humbling, and don't really want to get into our particular relationship, but there was a little bit of tension there. And then I lived with him for like a month and a half, and then now I moved to Hoboken, quit my job in the process, had to find a new job. I'm in a new job, doing a whole new commute. Now I'm going to New York, which was really part of my plan. I really wanted to be in New York, that atmosphere, for multiple reasons. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and now I'm where I am today. I don't want to get too deep into certain things because if somebody finds you, you don't want to be saying things, but basically I don't feel like a lot of these changes are going to stop, and that's really what I'm coming to terms with now. Is that I was making all these moves thinking that there was going to be a time when it feels convenient for me to start making videos again. And really all I was doing was getting myself out of the practice of making videos on any recurrent basis. And it's not only like that part of my life, there's other parts of my life where they didn't necessarily go on hold, but you know, I was craving that, especially career-wise. I mean, I went through a little period where I didn't have a job, where I'm going on these interviews, where I'm working at a job I don't want to be at anymore. And I just want this to be over. I just want this to be over. And I'm kind of finding out that like it may never be over. At the end of the day, whether it's sooner or later, I'm probably going to have to look for another job, just in the reality of today's job market. I mean, you're not going to stay somewhere for your whole life. I'm probably going to end up moving again. All these things are things that are going to come into my life on some type of repetitive pattern that is also chaotic and disorderly. You got to take things day by day. You have to execute your plan, but you can't think that there's a time to get comfortable, because it's never going to be routine. And if you're in a routine that's is just so comfortable, you're not challenging yourself, you're not really moving forward, and then that's how you're going to really get stuck in a rut wherever you are. So that's really the big thing that I learned in terms of just the last few months, that it really was like fucking with my head. Was that like, you know, I felt like I was doing something wrong because I was being overwhelmed by new issues, and I was like extrapolating the thoughts out too far. You got to look at what's local. What do I have to do today? What are the targets today? Where am I trying to go? And then just kind of move forward on those, and not really get so caught up in not the long term, because I like to play the long game, and I think you need to play the long game, but there's certain things that are just not productive to think about now. About what happens in 3 months if I don't have a job, you know, when you're in a position you don't like. You know, you gotta start looking for a new job, and you gotta quit your job, and you gotta make the transition. You know, you're gonna have to go to all these places and start going through the hiring process. You're going to have to go through the process of making a transition where you're not sure where you're going to be. You know, you got to just move on a whim and just make it work. And it's kind of that commit first, figure it out later mindset, and just taking things one step at a time. But take it one step at a time, and don't get so overwhelmed that you're not doing anything. And that's kind of like my big pitfall that I can fall into, is that I'll get so overwhelmed that I stop producing things outwardly. And that's really the number one thing I realized, was like, you can't just look for security and comfort in terms of instability like as a long-term strategy. That's not your end goal. Your end goal is just to be able to contribute and accomplish your daily and your hourly, weekly targets, and even monthly. You can keep going further and further, but it really starts with the day, and one task at a time, one step in front of the other, one pant leg at a time. You can't put both pant legs at the same time. And if you keep thinking about how you're gonna jump into your pants, you're gonna be walking around in your boxers. That's really what was on my mind here. Really kind of wanted to start that off with a bit of an explanation of why I took my brief hiatus or extended hiatus That's probably one of the number ones. The next one really is going to be more towards failure, because I dealt with a couple blows that within this, and that's really why I was grasping towards that. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm going to leave that for another video, and then the next ones are going to be getting into the mastery, and I'll probably get back to vlogging in a repetitive pattern. But that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, it's your boy Devin Coates. Like, comment, subscribe. Dislike if you didn't like it. Any feedback is appreciated. And until next time, peace.